have an idea of like who you thought you would be as a mom?
Yeah, I think I had a very similar experience. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, dedicated to, she was the best mom, really. And I feel like I always worried growing up that I'm not super maternal. Like I've never really been like a girly girl. And so I was a little nervous that maybe like I wouldn't have the maternal instincts, but you know, I love my baby, but I also love my music. I love working. And actually, I think taking the time away to do something just for myself, when I come back to my child, I am better equipped. I'm in a better mood. And I can give more of myself to her in the times that I can give to her. And I also like, so we have a nanny who comes and helps us out 4 hours a day during the weekdays. And it's just been tremendously helpful, a relief for both my husband and I. And it's also just nice for her to have a fresh person constantly. Because when you're the only person there all day long, it's like, yeah, you might get tired, maybe even stop talking to them, saying as many words to them. And when there's a new fresh person who's excited to be playing with them, they get like just the best energy all the time.
Yeah, no, I love that. I relate to that too. And I feel like I felt like I was more controlling at the beginning, you know, sort of like my baby. My husband made a joke once of like, I'm not going to be able to take care of this baby, like pre-pregnancy, right? You're like, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. And then like after you have the baby, you're like, I'm the only one who can take care of this baby. It's pretty funny. But then like for me, that initial anxiety kind of relaxed, and I started to realize having other people in my child's life is so valuable because they're getting these different perspectives and they're learning things from people that like I don't know. And you know, I can't teach my kid everything. I'm just one lens on the world. Right. So I totally identify with that. And additionally, it just eases the tension to have more people, right? Yeah. It's not so much stress and strain. And then like you said, you're able to be your best self because it's not just like such a huge constant demand on you that you're just sort of incapacitated by it.
Yeah, but I definitely have a lot more appreciation for my mom and what she did, because I had 6 siblings and she was a full-time stay-at-home mom. I'm like, I don't know how you did it.
Yeah.
I mean, but she did have, you know, she had the village, she had family helping, and yeah.
Yeah, well, and I really think like it's about honoring our own truth too, right? Like for some people that is their nature, and like that is what will light them up. And for other people like you and me apparently, like we need a little bit of both. And I'm just so grateful because similar to you also, I'm able to work and be with my kids. Yeah. And I think I would be really sad just in my own personal preference if I was like 9 to 5 away from them and, you know, not as present. So to be able to get to have kind of the best of both worlds, which, you know, I'm curious if this is your experience too, but it's sort of like, I also felt when I became a mom, it was like, oh my gosh, it's just an endless series of catch-22s of like, you can never win no matter what you do, right? Like there's mom guilt if you're working. If you're only with your kid, then there's like, oh, I'm not working. Like, so that was tough. So best of both worlds being like a relative term, right?
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I just know that I feel better when I get to spend some time by myself. I'm also very introverted too, so like even if it's your baby, it's like you're still around somebody else all the time, so I still kind of need my time to like de-stress. I think when she also started sleeping in her own bedroom, that was also a game changer, because then we finally got our evenings back, we could have dinner together. Yeah.
Makes a difference.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Well, do you have any like tips that you would share for people who are becoming new parents?
Oh gosh, yeah, just take all the advice that people gave you and just like, with just a grain of salt. Like some of it will be helpful, and then some of it will just not work for your child or your situation. And it's just gonna be about you figuring out what works best for you. Like for example, I stopped breastfeeding after 4 months because I was undersupplying so much. And you know, there's some people who would consider that maybe not long enough to be breastfeeding or whatever, but it's just like, I was in the studio too much, I was working too much, and I just wasn't making enough. And for my own sanity, I chose to be done. And to be honest, I don't know if I would breastfeed if I had another child, because it was such a tumultuous
Do you want to have other
journey. I do. I'd like to maybe have one more. We're keeping the future open for having one more. But I'd also like to adopt, and so we're kind of like dabbling with that direction as well.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I'd also love to hear like a little bit more about your music career, because I know you worked with Liz. Yeah. So just kind of how you got into music, you know, where your inspiration and kind of what fuels up your creativity around that. So yeah.
So I started posting videos on YouTube like, oh gosh, it's like 15 years ago now or something like that. Longer than some people have been alive who are making content on YouTube. So I started posting videos on YouTube, just like acoustic versions of pop songs, and then I would mix in my original music, and after just a short period of time of doing that, I started getting calls from people in LA, and I was filling out for writing sessions, and I started professionally recording out in LA. And that kind of just snowballed into a full-time career on YouTube making music, which still so grateful that that's my job. And then a couple years ago, I wrote a song using only hate comments from all those videos that I posted on YouTube, and that went a little bit viral.
Yeah. That's awesome.
and I sang that on America's Got Talent, and that was a really fun experience, and I think just opened up my audience to a whole new world. Yeah, and then while I was pregnant, actually, I started developing an animated kids music show, because as soon as I got pregnant, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to listen to children's music for the rest of my life. And I was like, wait, Madilyn, you make music. You make music.
You can handle it.
Let's make some music that like the kids will like, but that the parents will be like, oh, this is chill. This is nice. We like this music.
Good idea.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and is that like the main thing you're doing now?
It's one of the projects I'm doing now. I'm never, like I told you, when I got pregnant, I was releasing an entire album. I'm not a person who chills very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always have like a million projects going. But bonus, I'm now making my kids' favorite music. So
That's awesome. Do you want to share the name of the channel?
yeah, the channel's name is Maddie and Her Magic Hattie Show. It's a show where this little magician girl pulls something out of her hat every episode, and it could be a problem, but instead she decides this could be an adventure. And she writes a song about it and solves the problem. And it's a very fun show. The music is sort of kind of like my covers, like an acoustic, kind of chiller kind of music. And I just love the Maddie character so much because she is a little bit sassy, but she's also like really excited and always in a good mood and always down to solve problems.
I love that so much. I love that you're like teaching kids to think about problems in that way and be like solution oriented. That's
And
beautiful.
creative solution oriented.
Create- yes,
So
exactly.
That's great.
Well, and then you guys work together on a few projects?
An EP in
Okay.
2016, I think it came
Yeah,
out.
my first EP ever. Yeah, we were pulled into a session together and instantly hit it off. We wrote a song called Death of Me, which is very different than Maddie and Her Magic Hattie Show.
Very different. It was a different time.
It was a different time.
Awesome. And another question I often like to ask guests is, how does your creativity impact your mental health, and vice versa? How does your mental health impact your creativity?
You know, I think that my creativity is a big piece of my mental health. Like anytime I'm feeling a little overwhelmed or stressed, Jimmy will be like, my husband will be like, how long has it been since you've written a song? I'm like, yeah, 3 days. He's like, go write a song.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that it's such a great way to like process our internal experience. And I know for me with songwriting, like once I've written a song and then it's like outside of myself, I then have this opportunity to sort of reflect on my experience and understand it almost from a more objective place
Right.
than when I'm just like in it.
But we just wrote a new theme song for the show.
We did.
And, you know, it's like hearing it for the first time. You know, it's like, oh my God, it's amazing, right? So you hear something or you write something and then you play it and you're like, wow, this is really cool. It totally, completely changes your mental like process, right? Like I go instantly into like, wow, I'm so happy. This is so fulfilling. And it changes me. So I like search for that. I seek that.
Well, and even like the genre of the song or like what you're writing, you're like getting into a vibe while you're writing that particular thing and almost sort of like meditating on a, I don't know, like a particular emotion or a particular sort of like experience. Yeah, songwriting's the best.
It's the best.
Yeah.
And you can even like put yourself in a different artist's shoes and be like, oh, I'm gonna write a song for so and so today if you're feeling stumped. And yeah, there's just a lot of fun things to do with songwriting.
Yeah, so much to love. Is there any handles or places to direct people to besides the YouTube channel?
Yeah, my YouTube channel is Madilyn Bailey. It's pretty much Madilyn Bailey everywhere, TikTok, Instagram, all the places.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this episode and that it brought you a lot of value. Let us know in the comments below. Please follow Madilyn and check out her work. And subscribe here.
Yes, and
all
we
the
have
things.
a special surprise performance for you as well.
We do. So that'll be coming up on another episode here of Dancing in the Kitchen.
Dance, dance, dance.